Hello, my friends. Today I'm going to talk about something that's really personal and hard to talk about, but important to share. And I'm finally at a point in my life where I am open to sharing about it because I think it's important that people not feel alone and that people realize that those in their friends group or their family that appear to be happy all the time on Facebook and social media sometimes are really struggling and maybe going through some really dark stuff. You really don't know what anybody's going through based on the face they put out there. About 5 years ago, I ended up almost taking my life. And I was in a very dark place, and I felt really alone, and I felt really lost, and like I wasn't good enough, or wanted, or loved, and I felt really alone, and in a place where I thought the people that I loved would be better off without me, because I was sad all the time. I was not very fun to be around, and I felt like I was too much to handle because I had to face a really hard thing in my life. I felt like I was a burden. I felt like I didn't belong here. So I thought the world would be better off without me. I struggled to find happiness and keep going. I started going for really long drives and thinking of how I could drive off of cliffs, or what would happen if I drove into the river, and if anybody would care to find me, and if anybody would miss me if I was gone. Not long into my long drives, I started feeling like I was happy-ish going on these long drives and going to explore places I hadn't explored before. And I started going on little weekend trips to get out of the house. And then I put a foam mattress in the back of my little Kia Forte. And then I started thinking about how awesome it would be to actually live my dream and go get a camper van and go see places and do all the things that I didn't get to do because I was busy raising a family. I traded in my Kia and I got myself this Dodge Grand Caravan, and it literally saved my life. It gave me an opportunity to focus my time and energy on building something for myself. It was the only thing in my life that I had control over. I was in control of how I decorated. There was nobody else who had input. It was all mine, and I could make it colorful and bright and beautiful, and I filled it with color, and I noticed that I was happy every time I got in my van. And even if I had a really crappy day and the thoughts of hurting myself came back, I would go for a drive and I would spend time singing at the top of my lungs, and I would get to the ocean, I'd watch the sunset, and I would be thankful for another day because I had this safe space where I could emote and I could cry and I could just lay here and stare at my ceiling if I wanted to, and I could decorate it, and I could go wherever I wanted to go and see whatever I wanted to see. And I realized that this van was a project that gave me focus and gave me a purpose, and I was excited when people started following my YouTube channel, which honestly I started just for myself, to show myself a year from now how my van had changed, or maybe help other people who were just starting, especially women who are doing van life. So I have this van now, and I am really attached to it. It is not just a van for going on adventures for me. It is a representation of a time in my life where I wanted to die and I planned to not be here anymore. And then I found this project and this passion, and I filled my life with color. And I noticed that when I would park places and I would open my door and I would get out, or I'd leave the door open, and people would see my colorful curtains or my decor or my blankets or my pillows or my suitcases or whatever colorful things I had inside, it made them happy too. And it wasn't just me. And I realized that it's pretty freaking amazing to be alive. And ultimately, this van ended up teaching me all kinds of things. I have learned how strong I am, how smart I am, how capable I am, how brave I am, and how adventurous I am. I have learned so much about who I am that I didn't know was living inside of me this whole time. And the month and a half that I spent full-time from Washington making my way down to Arizona, I stealth camped, I stayed in scary places, and I got through it, and I pushed through my fears. I met all kinds of interesting characters, and I opened myself up to making friendships and finding love. And I think the thing that bothers me the most is that now I wake up happy every single day, and I didn't know what that felt like my whole life. I never knew what it felt like to wake up loving myself. And I can't imagine having ended my life never knowing what it feels like to love myself. I have a lot of sadness inside of me thinking about the fact that I could have left this earth never knowing what it feels like to be this happy. And I'm very thankful that I ended up doing van life, not just for fun or adventure, but to heal myself and to grow and to discover who I really am. I discovered that I am a beautiful person, and people do love me, and I love myself. And I feel like it's important to share when we have these kind of struggles, because I know there are a lot of people out there who feel so small and so unwanted and so unloved, and sometimes we feel so broken that we don't think we'll ever be put back together. But it's possible. I just wanted to thank you for spending time with me and letting me share my story, and for following along on my journey and loving me and giving me support and just keeping me going for the last 2 years of this crazy adventure I have now called my life. And I can't wait to see what the next chapter holds, which is something I never would have said before. I got this phoenix tattoo after I decided I wanted to stick around to remind myself that I'm going to keep rising no matter what. No matter what the universe throws at me, I am capable of getting back up and rising. And no matter how bad it gets, I've risen multiple times, and I have it in me to keep rising. So if you're ever wondering where my tattoo came from, that's it. That's my daily reminder of how far I have come and how important it is to pick myself back up. You know what time it is. It's time to dance. Stay weird, friends. You're loved.